Good afternoon, everyone. Or good morning, whichever applies. I'm just waiting to see if I have sound. Okay, great. I have sound. So that's a good thing. So I haven't been here for a minute. It's been a long time since I've done a live. I wonder if anyone will join me. I'm a couple minutes early, so I'll just kind of hang out a little bit. Put some lotion on my hands. You're fine. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down, Oliver. Yeah. Lay down. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Lori. Hi, sweetheart. Yeah. Oh, girl. Shannon, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't like to complain or gripe or, poor me, because I'm not poor me. That's not me. That's not who I am. But I got some stuff going on, man. And I don't put a lot of it online because, really, who cares? I don't need any sympathy. Hi, Claire, sweetheart. I'm glad you're here. Um, so, y'all know, because I did post about this, I had some pretty major oral surgery. Um, wow. Yeah. So that happened. And that took some time to recover from. And then three, you're not going to believe this, 3 days after that, I tore the meniscus in my left knee, and I'm on crutches. I've been on crutches for going on 3 weeks now. And if you've ever been on crutches, which I never have been before, I've never been on crutches before, it is so limiting and frustrating, and oh my goodness, and my knee hurts 24/7, and I can't I can't sleep, and so I'm going to have surgery. So I have that to look forward to, and then the recovery time for that. So I'm going to be on crutches for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so that's what's up with me. That's why I haven't been around. I couldn't really even get out to my garage to where my space is. I couldn't get out here because I couldn't go down the step that goes down into the garage. But yeah, oh gosh, yeah. If it's not something, it's something else, right? Hi, Linda. Hi, sweetheart. I'm happy to see everybody too. I've really missed you guys a lot. Yeah, crutches. Oh my word. And I have a I have a walker that I kind of use in the house, and I feel 1,000 years old, you guys. And just, oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm going to do a live. It's not going to be anything, earth shattering. We're going to talk a little bit about texture. Um, I've been kind of delving into milk paint a bit here recently. My friend Travis at the Rooster Cottage has helped me with some things that I didn't understand. And so I think that I kind of have a pretty good understanding of it now. And so we're going to do some stuff with milk paint. I'm going to put some links in. Yeah, you guys don't feel sorry for me. I'm really okay. My husband is just a gem. He's just such a doll. He's so caring, and just, he really is. He should have been a doctor. He's got kind of like that doctor vibe, He's just really caring and empathetic, and so I couldn't be in better hands. He's lovely. I'm putting in some links. I'm not sure what they're for. Yeah, I am sure what they're for. Um, some is for like some crackle stuff that I'll be using. I'm going to put a link in for, I hope they're working. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. So one is to my store. I didn't mean for it to come up that way. I meant to go right to the product, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And then, you guys, I'm going to put in a link. This is my affiliate link. I've recently become an affiliate for Sweet Pickins milk paint, which I like a lot. And what I like about it is you can buy smaller sizes. You have to buy a big, like, pound bag of milk paint in one color. What I like about it is you can buy smaller I think it's 2 ounce bags. And what I'll do next time, now these are the 3 that I've bought because I thought these were colors that I would use a lot, and I'm right. Hi, Molly. Um, so I bought Flour Sack, which is like the staple, which I would use for everything. Excuse me. I bought O Olive, which is a little bit dark for me, but I can mix the Flour Sack with any other color to lighten it up. So I can mix it, or you can do a dry brush of a lighter paint over. And then I got First Crush, which is, you know, that pale, beautiful pink that we all love so much. You're super excited. Oh, hi, Regine. Hi, I was thinking about you today, Regine. I thought, I wonder if Regine will see that I'm live today and show up, because my, you're my diehard. You're always here. You and Shannon both. You're always here. So anyway, so that's milk paint. I put in a link there. I'm an affiliate link. I get a couple of pennies, but you know, it's nice. And this stuff's pretty cool. There's a bit of a learning curve. Like I said, my friend Travis at Rooster College helped me with some things that I didn't quite understand. And I would say that I've got it figured out, because there's milk paint on there. This is a fine line crackle on the label, but this is all milk paint here. And I'm obsessed, okay? So, oh, you know what? I was going to put a link in for that as well, because this is a piece that I have up for purchase. So I'll put a link for that too, just in case. Ooh, my leg is screaming. Now listen, I took a half of a pain pill, so if I do or say anything crazy, that's why. So give me some grace. No telling where this is going to go. It's really hot out here. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I turned a fan on. Okay. I'm really glad to be here, you guys. I thought, oh, they're all going to forget about me. Okay, so what we should talk about is the release on Thursday, the summer collection for Iron Orchid. I got it several days ago, maybe a week ago. And just yesterday, my husband and my son helped me get everything unpacked, and you know, everything comes in 3-packs. So not only do you have to empty the box, but you got to empty the 3-packs. So we've got oh, hi Gail, hi sweetheart, hi Sheila. I am on today. I'm back, as it is, you know, as it were. Here I am. Anyway, everything's all set up and ready to go. 10 a.m. Thursday morning, the 22nd of May, is when the shop will open. The oolalashop.com is where you can purchase the new stuff, and they'll be doing a live. It's probably recorded, but they'll be showing you the products, and as soon as their live starts, we're allowed to sell. So we'll be selling during that. It's probably not live. It's probably recorded. Thanks, Regine, sweetheart. I'm all over the place. What was I talking about? Oh, the new release, the summer collection. There's some really interesting, cool, unexpected things. So I think some of you are going to be over the moon. Some of you are going to be like, oh, well, that's not something I'm ever going to use. Which we always say that, and then somebody does something fabulous, and we're like, oh, I got to have that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I got some products early, so I've put together a few projects and just loved them. So I'll be sharing those with you on Thursday as well. I will not be live on Thursday. You know the drill. You guys have been with me long enough. I will be packing, shipping my little heart out Thursday through the weekend. Okay, so I will not be live at all. There'll be other people doing lives. Robin will do lives, you know, so I'll overnight her some products so she can play. And yeah, so let's talk about texture. So milk paint is an interesting animal. At the beginning of the live, I talked about milk paint and what my thoughts are on it, and I put a link in. I'm affiliate retailer for Sweet Pickins milk paint. And I got these, and what I like is you can buy 2-ounce sample bags. I like that. Now I'm getting ready to make a new order. I'll buy a large bag now of the flour sack, because what I've determined is whatever paint color you have, you can mix to lighten. Like this is a little bit darker green than I really want. I kind of want like that misty fjord, like this kind of green, you know, lighter. But I can mix, I can lighten it up with flour sack. So flour sack is beautiful on its own, plus it will help you lighten any colors that you have. You know, we're all into the pastels right now. So, milk paint. Let's talk about milk paint. This is the finish that you get, okay? Pretty fabulous. Pretty darn fabulous. And you can put it over any color, okay? I've put it over driftwood, which is like kind of that light kind of taupey brown. You can put it over a darker brown. You can put it over black, okay? This is over black, and that I think gives you the most drama, okay, is putting it over black. This is from this, and I believe I put a link in. Let me look. Let me go back and look. I think I put that link in. Yeah, I put a link in for this. This is a really cool mold. Look, there's a crown, and there's like a kind of a Fleur de Lis kind of thing, and then 2 frames. You know, you'd have to back this frame with something, but that's okay. Like if you're gonna put this on something else, you know, the piece backs it itself. So, but look at the beautiful detail on this. Well, it's hard to see because it's black, but it is quite pretty. It'll show up when we start painting. Let's see. Hi, Donna. So this is Paint Couture mineral paint in pitch black. Now, if you put milk paint over chalk paint, for some reason it doesn't want to crackle. I'm sure there's a science behind that. I don't know what it is. Can you guys hear me? My air conditioner just came on. Let's do a sound check. Tell me if you can hear me clearly enough. Camera's crooked. So basically, chalk paint is so porous that the milk paint can't kind of like shrink up and crack, okay? So you have to putting it over mineral paint is fabulous. If you're going to use chalk paint, I would suggest that you seal it like with a satin top coat, or you can seal it with something like this, Krylon Color Master, which is a spray, okay? But you need to give that milk paint something to kind of like slip around on. Okay, you can hear. Great. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for checking in. Okay, so I took and I painted all these with our Paint Couture from our friend Robin in pitch black. You guys already know I love black. Black works for everything. So I did this is from the Fleur de Lis mold. This is a mold that I got off Amazon, and it's this pretty thing right here. And of course, this is my favorite mold of all time. This is from Frames 2. I can't even count how many times I've used that. Let's mix up some milk paint. Now, you have to measure milk paint. At least I do. Maybe after I use it for a while, I can just do it kind of like off the top of my head. But right now I'm measuring because it's 1 part or equal parts water and powder, okay? I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of the flour sack, okay? Oh, another thing I wanted to tell you. My affiliate, when you use that and you go to the Sweet Pickins milk paint, every month they have a color hi Robin, they have a color for like $4.50. These are $7. They have this sample size for $4.50. And they pick a random color every month, and I always get that random color. And the color this month is kind of like a light blue, so it's really pretty. So look for that. I think it's called Harbor. So that's like almost half off one of these. So look for that if you go to order some. So I put 1 tablespoon of powder in here, And I'm going to do a scant tablespoon of, sorry, the drugs are kicking in. I'm going to do a scant tablespoon of water because if your milk paint is thicker, it cracks better. So I'm not going to, see, I didn't fill that all the way. I would say that's maybe 3/4 of a tablespoon. Okay, so I put that in there. I'm going to stir it up. I meant to bring a whisk out here because it actually does work better if you use a whisk, but this is pretty thick, so I don't think. But the idea is to get all of those little, and I already did it wrong. You're supposed to put the water in first and then put the powder on top of the water. It prevents lumps, but I did it backwards. Like I said, I'm fairly new to milk paint, but I really like what I'm seeing so far. So I'm going to add just a touch more water to this to get a better consistency so I can at least brush it on. And when you put it on, it's not really a brush as much as it is, you're just kind of laying it on. You're just kind of like frosting, kind of, I guess. They say, and I found it to be true, to give this a few minutes before you start painting with it. And that gives the water time to, I'm sure it's a scientific thing that happens with the powder. I'm not going to try to explain it because I don't fully understand it, but I know it's a thing. Okay, so there's that. We'll let that sit for a minute. And it kind of thickens up, and that's what you want. You want it to be a little bit thicker. Elizabeth, hi sweetheart, how are you? I'm glad to see you here. So here's another thing I found out. And what I like about milk paint is you only mix what you need, but what I've found is it's kind of hard to guesstimate how much you need. So I always have like another little extra thing that I can paint. Whether I have a whole box of things like this, you know, molds that I've made, like this, stuff like that. And like that's from Trimmings 4. And I use, if I have leftover, because you can't really save it because it has milk in it and it'll spoil. And then I just paint things that are, you know, laying around so I can use all of it. So I prepped 3 pieces in case, oh good, I'm glad, Elizabeth, in case I have leftover. We're going to start over here with this guy. Okay, so I can see that this is already thickening up, which is kind of what I want. So let's go ahead and start, shall we? Now, this frame has tons and tons and tons of detail. What I have noticed about milk paint is you lose some of that detail, but the trade-off is like this amazing crackle old world kind of thing that I've not really seen with anything else. So it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. So I'm going to take and I'm going to just start. And like I said, it's kind of brushing, but you can see I'm not like really worrying about so much like up here especially. You really kind of almost have to pounce this on because it's so thick, okay? And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of pouncing this on. If you don't get every single bit of black or whatever your background color is, if you don't get every single bit of that covered, it doesn't matter because it's going to crack anyway. So not a biggie. Like here, I don't have that covered, but it's going to crack and black is going to show through anyway. So I'm not so concerned about that. I'm trying not to let it pool too very much, but it will just because of the nature of the beast, you know. It's going to pool somewhat, but that's where you get your cracks, is in that deeper paint. Thicker paint, I should say. That's what I want to say, thicker paint. So there we go. You can see I still got some black showing. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to do my sides. Like so. Now these are, you know me, hot glue. These are hot glue castings. And the way you get this to crackle is with heat, okay? So you do have to be aware that you're putting heat on hot glue, and you can reactivate that hot glue, and you don't really want to do that. So it's kind of a delicate balance. I don't use a real high heat, and I keep it moving. You guys know that already. Keep it moving. This is pretty thick down in here, but that's okay. Just looking to see if I got it kind of the same depth everywhere. Okay, so there's that. Let's get you a little closer. Here we go. Oh, Elizabeth, how wonderful. Girl, send me pictures. I want to see. So there's that one. And now see, I've got all this paint left over, and that was just a tablespoon of paint. So let's paint these guys too, because, you know, you can't save it. So go ahead and use it. Like I said, I have a whole little box of castings that I'll make, because generally if my glue gun is already hot, I'll make a couple castings, you know, because you always use them. I do anyway. So I don't want to throw this paint away, so I'll just put it on some castings that I've made and painted. And like I said, you can do the black background, you can do a driftwood color like a taupe, you can do a darker brown, whatever color you want to peek through. The black, I think, is the most dramatic. It shows the most. It's very goopy, and you're going to think, oh my, that's so thick and goopy. And it is. I don't know if goopy is a word or not, but that's the word I'm using. And I want to make sure I get, sorry, all on the inside here. Okay. And then I'm going to also paint this Fleur de Lis, because at some point I'll use that for something. And I've got just enough paint left to do that. So we'll just glop that on. Now, milk paint is interesting. It definitely has its applications. It does not replace paint couture by any means. It's just different. It's just different. I'll still, you know, use the heck out of my paint couture because I love it so. But this is just another kind of little something to have in your bag of tricks. Remind me to show you something at the end that I've been wanting to do for years, and I've never done it, and I finally did it, and gosh darn if it didn't work. It doesn't really tell you anything, does it? I'm putting a little bit more on here. Okay, now I'm going to take out my blow dryer. Not my blow dryer, my heat gun. And again, remember, I'm on, here, I'm on, it's the wrong button. I'm on hot glue, so I have to be careful about the heat, because I don't want to melt my casting, right? So I've got to be aware of that. All right, let's, darn it. I didn't bring a cup of water out here for my brush. Darn it, darn it, darn it. You caught me live. Hi, Betty Sue. Girl, and that's, the live gods must be looking out for you, because I haven't been live, I don't know, maybe in a couple months since I've been live. Okay, so here's my thing. It has 2 speeds. I'm going to put it on the lowest speed, and I'm just going to always keep it moving, okay? Let's bring you closer so you can watch the magic. I'm going to, well, that's, I did it again. Do you see it cracking? It's starting to crack. Look. Amazing. Keep it moving. You don't want to melt your casting. I don't know if it'll crack without heat. I have no idea. I don't think it does. I think the heat is what cracks it. Maybe one of y'all know. I don't know. But I'm going to show you too why I like to use the milk paint on the hot glue castings. I'll show you a little trick. Always keep it moving. See, we're starting to get cracks here. Keep it moving, keep it moving. It's not the end of the world if your casting heats up too much. Just don't touch it or you'll distort it. You know, let it cool before you start touching it. So a lot of times things with lots and lots of detail like that, it won't crack right up front, but I'm going to show you a trick. Whereas flat surfaces, they crack pretty readily. So that Fleur de Lis is getting some really nice cracking on it. Hi, Shane. As soon as I turn off the blow dryer out, we'll talk a little bit about that. Everything is linked in the first part of the live, honey. We're using milk paint. And I have an affiliate link in the comments if you want to give it a try, or if you need some, or if you've never tried it before. We're kind of doing this together. I'm new to milk paint, but I'm a fan. What I have noticed is that when it looks like it's dry, it's really not. It's not dry underneath, okay? So it does take some time to dry. Look at that cracking, isn't that amazing? So like a lot of people use this on furniture, like paint big pieces of furniture. I don't do that anymore, but I used to. But I never used milk paint back then because I didn't know about it. Well, I knew about it, but it hadn't really piqued my interest yet. And for whatever reason now, it's interesting to me, so I'm kind of, you know, looking at it and getting into it. Oh, you're welcome, Shane. Look, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, it not being really dry. See where it's kind of wrinkly right there? It's not dry behind there. So it's kind of wavy because it's not dry. It will dry eventually. And that one's pretty dry. This should be pretty dry. Still got a little bit of that ripply, kind of like wrinkly skin stuff. That just means it's still wet underneath. See where it's kind of rippled? That means it's wet under there. Okay, now, so here's what's interesting. Will it crack if you let it air dry? Belinda, I do not know. I talked about that just a second ago. I don't know. I don't know. I think it needs heat to dry or to crack. Yeah, I don't think it will crack by itself without heat. I'm not 1,000% sure because I'm fairly new to milk paint, but that's my understanding so far. Now I'm going to show you what's cool about working on hot glue molds, okay? So This is milk paint on here. There's not a lot of cracking on here because it has so much detail. There's so much detail, and you can see the paint's kind of filled in all that detail. But what you can do, because it's soft and it's pliable, is you can do this, okay? You can do this and you can create cracks, okay? And it's very cool. You wouldn't be able to do this with resin or clay after it dried or anything like that. So you can do that, and you can get cracks to kind of come out like that. And then I'll take something kind of whatever, a popsicle stick or sandpaper, real coarse sandpaper, and I'll kind of come and do this. See what I'm doing? I'm scraping some of that flaky paint off, okay? Yeah, Lori, I love it too. I'm pretty excited. Look, see, it just flakes right off. Whereas here we got really good crackle because it's a flat surface. On things like this, you need to kind of help it because there's so much detail. Like I'll go in around the inside of this, just like this, and get some of that. It's cracked, and you'll go with something hard like this, and you'll be, it's very random. Don't look for perfection because you're not going to get it. And you're scraping off. Just, let's get you a little bit closer. You're just going over the high points, and that paint will flake right off. And now your detail starts to really show. You can take off as much or as little as you want. How amazing is that? That's just beautiful. This is very thick right here, okay? Lots of thick paint, so I'm gonna bend that pretty much so I can get some raised edges. Look, so I can have more fun. I've had more fun with this so I can get some of that paint to come off. Because when you bend it, it cracks. Now the edges are raised, and you can take whatever you're using to kind of scrape it. And would you look at that? Is that not fabulous? That is fabulous. It can crack air drying, depends on the surface, etc. But you'll have a better chance of forcing it if you add heat to it. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you very much. That has been my experience when I was first starting. I wasn't getting a lot of cracking. And then, you know, of course, I went on YouTube and said, why is this not cracking? And every YouTube video that I saw, they were force drying it. So I thought, okay, well, that's a thing. So now I'm just going to go around the edges, you know, and just kind of, there'll be little edges that are sticking up that I can just kind of scrape off and get some of that black to show through. And I think that's amazing. I think it looks super authentic and cracky, and I'm in love. Now imagine you take and you hit, and we'll do it. We'll hit the high points with a little bit of gold. Not a ton. You don't need a ton. And it just sings. Now we've got our Fleur de Lis. Okay. I know, Regine, isn't it fabulous? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just made another order for more milk paint. Like I said, my affiliate is in the first part of the comments, and every month on Sweet Pickins, they take this is the size that I buy. It's 2 ounces, and it goes a long way. I've done a ton, and look how much I still have left. Every month, they take a random color, a random 2-ounce sample pack, and put it on sale for $4.50. This is regular $7. So every month I buy their little $4.50 pack too, you know, because that's like almost half. So I think this month the sale pack is called Harbor, and it's like a real light blue. So yeah, so use my affiliate link and go over there and get yourself some milk paint, because this is something that's I'm definitely adding to my repertoire. And this is the other end. When it's all done, that's what you get. Absolutely delicious. Delicious. So this, I mean, you can make this as chippy as you want, okay? And the reason that you kind of have to help it along on things that are very, very detailed like this, whereas here I don't have to help it at all because it's a flat surface, you know. Around here I'm going to have to help it because, again, very, very detailed. Now when I come in here and I go like this and I bend it, and I can bend it because it's hot glue, it raises up the edges of the paint that's already dried, okay? And then I can go with my little, look, I can get even more cracks here. Oh, how delicious. Look at that. Look at all the cracking. Isn't that amazing? And you can only do it if it's made out of hot glue. Like, because I don't think resin bends like this when it's dry, does it? I've never used resin. But, so there we've got that all bent and cracked up. 30% off the monthly color, any size. Such a great deal. Thank you for the link. Oh, you're welcome. 35, oh, off any size. Okay, thank you so much, Shannon. I didn't do my homework. I ordered a bigger, these were the first ones that I've ordered. I just made another order. And I ordered a bigger package of flour sack, which to me is the all around, it's the farmhouse linen, you know, Pink Couture. It's that color. And like this olive, it's a little dark for me, but I can mix this to make it lighter, to make it that light, pretty green that we like, you know. So I ordered the bigger flour sack because I can mix it with any of the other colors to make them lighter, and I use it a lot just by itself. I tend to really use a lot of white because it's so dramatic, and I really, really like it. So thank you for that, Shannon, letting us know that. So here, I've kind of raised up the cracking a little bit, and I'm just, it's a popsicle stick, you guys, a craft stick from, what do you call it, Dollar Tree. And look, I'm just scraping across. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but it's how I do it. Look what I'm getting. Fabulous. And you can also kind of bend it a little bit and be able to get those little pieces to kind of raise up. What you're doing is you're catching the edges of the cracks. See, there's the cracks. And when I go across them, I'm catching the edges of them and peeling some of that paint off and getting some of that black to show through. It's just fabulous. It looks so organic and real. I first tried doing it with a piece of sand, look, with a piece of sandpaper, but it didn't work. It was too, you need to, in my experience has been that you need something kind of hard to catch the edges of that paint. Like, look at the difference from here to here. It's fabulous. I'm beside myself. I love this so much. So if you're bending, I don't know how many of you make your castings out of hot glue, but it's almost exclusively what I make my castings out of. I've perfected it over the last couple of years, and I know exactly what it's going to do, and I really like it. And it lends itself really well to this kind of paint because you can bend it and really get a lot of cracking, especially on detailed things like this. Now, I'm thinking about it. If this were made out of resin or dry clay, I think you could still do this method. I think it might be a little bit harder because, again, when you're bending it, you're making those little edges come up, and then you can catch them with the edge of this. See? So it makes it really easy to get. Oh, I just love this so much. I'm so excited. I love when I find something new. It's not new, it's new to me, so might as well be new. Yeah. So I've been having tons and tons of fun with this. And like I said, our friend Travis over at, yeah, flour sack, Christina, absolutely. Flour sack is the color, is it not? I mean, you can mix it with other colors. It's beautiful by itself. It's the first color you need to buy, in my opinion. Anyway, I was saying our friend Travis over at the Rooster Cottage helped me a lot to understand this product because I never used it before, and he helped me a lot. He was very generous in his help, so I really appreciated that. I'd send him pictures and what am I doing wrong? And he helped me, so that was nice. We help each other. He's a very nice man. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So I'm just scraping, I'm bending to get the edges to come up, and it makes it easier to get that And this is a method that works with hot glue castings. I don't know how it works with any other kinds of castings because I don't make other kinds of castings. These are the only kind of castings that I make. But look at this. It's fabulous. It could not be more fabulous. Regine, I'm glad to hear that. Don't give up, honey. It took me a long time to figure out the hot glue thing. And it's worth sticking with, believe me. I feel like somebody popped in here and I missed them. I thought I saw somebody. Oh, Belinda. Did I say hi to you, Belinda? I forgot what I was saying. Thank God for pain meds. Well, Christina, and I did get your, I got your message this morning, honey, and I'll be messaging you back this afternoon when I sit down. I've torn the meniscus in my knee, so I've been on crutches for a couple of weeks, going on 3 weeks. I'm looking at surgery, so crutches are my new best friend. I'm going to be on crutches for a while, which is just so limiting and so frustrating. I can't do anything. It's just, it's the worst. I'm very thankful that the summer collection release from Iron Orchid is on a Thursday because my husband is off on Thursday and Friday, so I won't, I'll have his help. My son's coming over to help me, so we won't miss a beat on shipping, so that makes me super happy. But, you know, man, I'll tell you what. And then I'm on pain medication, so I'm a little bit loopy, to tell you the truth, which is kind of nice, but I try not to take it too often, but dang, who wants to hurt all the time? Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh, it's just so cool. So there, we haven't done this one. So I'm going to bend it a little bit. There's a lot of very smooth surface on this, so we don't have to bend a lot because we got a lot of cracking without really bending this so much because there's not a ton of detail. It's mostly, what am I trying to say? Smooth surfaces. So it really, I'm just going to kind of get the high points. This is so fun, you guys. And I was a little frustrated when, you know, the first few times that I played with the milk paint because I thought, well, I'm not getting that yummy stuff that I see everybody else get, you know? And so I'd whine and send Travis messages and he'd help me. So Travis, thank you. I know you're probably on the road right now. He's going up to visit his parents, but thank you. Yeah, I was using a walker. My husband went and got me some crutches, and so I used the walker for some things and crutches for others. Like I went to the dentist or to the oral surgeon yesterday, and I used the crutches, and you know, so different applications for depending on where I'm trying to go, right? Oh, it's just such a pain in the behind. You know, I've never, you know, my back has hurt for decades, but I have never lost mobility. So that's a whole different animal. It's, look how fabulous that is. It's just so frustrating. You know, I can't just pop up and run to the kitchen. I can't just, you know, you have to think about everything. You have to think about how you're putting your leg down because you don't want to re-injure your knee. And here's the weird thing. I didn't fall. My leg was not twisted. It just, I put my leg down and it darn near took me to the floor. My husband raced in from the office. He said, I'm coming, because I screamed like involuntarily. And he thought, oh, I thought for sure you were on the floor. He thought I'd fallen again. That's like my specialty is falling. And no, and man, I had no idea something could hurt that bad. Wow. But you know what? It's just another little roadblock that I will overcome. I'm not thrilled about surgery, I gotta tell you, but what are you gonna do? I don't want to be in crutches for the rest of my life. That's fabulous. So there we've got our 3 pieces. This can be more, I'm gonna do more down here off camera, but those are 3 very, very, Sheila, I tore the meniscus in my left knee. Not doing anything. I didn't have an accident. I didn't even step wrong. It wasn't like, ooh, like I twisted my knee. It wasn't even that. I just stepped and bam. Yeah, so there you go. Age. I think it's age. That's what I'm going to blame it on. I could sit here and do this all day. In fact, I have sat and done stuff like this for hours. It's so satisfying. Look, because every time you do it, you get something else delicious to come off. It's just so good. Look at this. Wait a minute. Let's get focus, focus. Look. Isn't that amazing? Now imagine you're going to smudge that with some gold on the high points. Ugh. Yeah, Sheila, it's my knee. It's my left knee. Okay. What else did I want to show you? I wanted to show you I had two things I was going to show you. I'm going to wait and show you the other thing when I'll use this for a project and I'll save it and we'll do it together, okay? Because there's another product I put around the inside here to get even more crackle, and then I'll put some, not wax, but what am I, antiquing gel to darken it, but that's, you know, that's like an actual project. Right now I'm just showing you a technique with this, what's it called? Milk paint. I was going to say salt paint. That's not what it is. It's milk paint. Okay. Yeah. We'll use this piece and we'll do a live together and we'll finish this into an actual something. Okay. Did you try scraping it with one of the Dollar Tree nail files? I did, Linda, and you know what happened? Because here, look, I have them all over the place. Here it is right here. And it works, but it's not nearly as stiff and hard as this. And I find that this works a lot better, like a popsicle stick. They're craft sticks from Dollar Tree, but you can really, I broke one earlier because, I mean, you got to get aggressive, you know, at least I think you have to get aggressive. So I find that these work better. This tends to just take off the top coat and make it kind of, cloudy. Is that the word? You know what I'm, like if I took this and went like this, it takes the paint off, but it doesn't chip it off, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if anybody else does theirs this way. Like I said, I think this is pretty specific to the kind of material that my mold is made out of, because my mold is made out of, hi sweetheart, my mold is made out of hot glue. And so I can, again, I can really bend it and get that paint to crack. Ollie, Sheila said hi. And then I can get the edges of that paint and really flake it off nice. I don't think you'd be able to do that with resin. I've never worked with resin, but I believe it's like rock hard when it's dried. Am I right in assuming that? So there, so now I'm just getting some more. See, it's like, you can't walk away from it. You just want to keep doing it because it's so satisfying. But we'll use this piece in our next live and we'll make an actual something, okay? And I'll show you how I use that other crackle medium to go around the inside here and get lots and lots of crusty layers, okay? But here's what I'm glad I remembered, because I have seen this done forever, years and years. On wood, just force dry and it makes it crack. I've never had to use anything. Yeah, on wood, on a flat surface, I can see, like this is a flat surface, I haven't even touched that. But I have found, just my personal experience, when you're doing really super detailed stuff like this, I've not been able to get it to crack. Or it might crack, but it doesn't show because there's so much other detail going on. So I wasn't happy with that, Christina. So I thought, how am I going to make that look the way I want it to? And I came up with this, and for me it works. It gives me exactly the look that I want. It gives me exactly the look that I want. So, I mean, it's not really cracked as much as it is distressed, maybe. That's probably a better word for it. But I really like the result of it. Okay, so let's take this frame and put some something gold on it. What do you say? What should we use? I know I got a boatload of Rub and Buff, and wouldn't you know I can't find any of it right now. I've got like 4 containers of it. 3 of them aren't even opened yet. And I can't find a one. I usually use, well, I've been using this too. I really like this because it's super, super gold. It's in my shop. It's golden liquid fluid acrylic. It's iridescent gold fine. And man, is it a beautiful color. Chippy, thank you, Belinda. That's the word I'm looking for, chippy. So I'm going to use a fan brush like this, okay? And I'm going to take some of this, sorry, I'm going to take some of this gold. It's my new favorite gold. Chippy is the word. Thank you, Belinda. Shane, was any product used on the molds before the milk paint? I have an Amy Howard product called Cracked Gesso. It's a powder you mix with water and then put 2 coats on it on your piece. After it dries, 2 coats of milk paint applied on top. Oh, that's a lot for me to get my head around, Shane. All I did was paint my piece with mineral paint pitch black. That's all I did in preparation for this step, okay? Karen, hi honey. I did talk about the summer release, but I'll talk about it at the end too. And we're almost done. So here's, and Shane, I'll read your comment more thoroughly when the live's over, and I'll see if I can answer that question for you. I don't know if I can because I'm not familiar with Amy Howard products, but so this I just take and I get it on the edges of my brush like this, a little fan brush. And it's kind of like a dry brush situation, okay? I'm just wanting to hit the high points. Could you just die? Look. Oh, how gorgeous is that? Look at that. Oh, my word. Doesn't get better than that, my friends. And so simple. And it would be the same thing if you used gold wax on your finger. It'd be the same thing. I just really like this because it's really, really, look, it's super shiny. It's like gold leaf. It's very, very shiny. I've gone through, yeah, my way, it's a little bit easier, huh? I've gone through 2 bottles of this in like 6 months. I love it. It's really all I use anymore to highlight things with because look, it's fabulous. And it's an acrylic paint. I actually bought it for my watercolors, and I've used it there too, mostly for splatter. I would use it mostly for splatter in my watercoloring. But I don't know, one day I was just like, oh, I've got a couple of different gold products, and then I thought, oh, you know what's really gold is that acrylic paint that I use for my, I'm gonna try that. And so, yeah, see, I'm not overthinking this. I'm just running the brush over some areas, and what comes off, and what doesn't, doesn't. And bam, look at that. Here, I'm gonna make it really super close up. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? It's so gorgeous. I can hardly stand it. It's just beautiful. Let's do some on here. Okay. Wow is right, Shannon. Wow is right. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I am feeling better, sweetie. I got a bit of a road ahead of me, but I'm feeling better. Even today, I can get around a lot better than I have been, you know, even just the last few days. It flipping hurts. Now this, I'm going to try to stay, there's ridges on this mold from Iron Orchid, like big tall ridges like this. So I want to try to stay on top of those. See? So I'm holding my brush real flat and just trying to stay on top of those ridges as best I can. And you can use your finger. You can smooth it out with your finger if you need to. Go around the edges a bit. I don't overthink much of anything, to tell you the truth. It's like, it's going to turn out the way it turns out, you know. I mean, it's art. It's supposed to be organic, and you know, if you fuss with it too much, it's not fun anymore, right? And that's how you learn, is by doing something and you're like, okay, well, I'll never do that again. And that's how you learn, right? But look at that. How fabulous is that? That is just, I'm sorry, that is fabulous. That's just, pretty effortless, I think. I mean, it wasn't like super technical or, you know, look at that. It's just gorgeous. So happy. Oh, Belinda, you're right. This, wow, wouldn't that be fabulous? That would really be pretty. You could just back it like with a piece of chipboard and put numbers in there. Anybody have a wedding that they're throwing? Okay, so there's that stuff. Super good. I'm very, very happy about it. Now, this is something, um, you guys probably all know this. I've seen it a million and one times. I've never done it before, but I'm going to do it. I did it this morning. I'm like, well, gosh darn, it works. And we're going to do it right now. So, I've seen people in the past, yeah, the gold is fabulous, right, Regine? I've seen people in the past get crackle with Elmer's glue. And I thought, yeah, right. Turns out it's true. So here's Elmer's glue. And you put some Elmer's glue. This is just a scrap piece of wood. I didn't even use a brush. I just kind of spread it out with my finger like this. This is wild. I can't believe this worked. And while it's wet, you paint it while it's wet. Is there enough on there? I'm going to put just a touch more on. I've got a fan blowing on me and I think it maybe dried a little bit. Literally Elmer's glue on raw wood. Okay, now if you painted that black or whatever, you know, those cracks would show through that color. And then while it's wet, you paint it just like that. Okay, now watch this. This is wild. And then you dry it. How crazy is that? That blew my mind that it actually worked. And like I said, I mean, this method has been around for decades. I've seen so many people do this, and I've always thought to myself, I'm gonna try that someday. And today was the day. I did this one earlier, but then I started sanding it before it was dry and I messed it up. But look at that's perfect crackle. And I don't know about you, but I've bought every, ooh, and then I think you could look. Remember that thing we did with the old world finish where you took your finger and, oh yeah, look. You take just your skin, look, while it's still wet, and you can make it like super chippy, which is cool too. Yeah, so how about that? I had no idea. It works, so I'll be using that. Like I said, I bought lots of products that promise to do that, and they do that, but not as cheaply as this, so I'm a fan. Anyway, that's it, you guys. That's what I'm doing today. I'm so glad to be back with you. I don't know how often I'm going to be here because, like I said, getting around is like, oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. But there's our little pieces. Oh, look. So good. So good. Yeah, I'm super pleased with this one. This one turned out really, really good. That's milk paint. That's black Paint Couture mineral paint on a hot glue mold. Flour sack milk paint on top. And then I scraped it with a popsicle stick and then put some of that acrylic golden gold. It's in my Amazon store. Okay? And this, we will do something together. You know what? Maybe I'll save this and yep, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to save this and we're going to, after I get my shipping under control, which will probably be, it'll probably be next Monday before I can safely come and do a live, okay? Because, you know, I'm very thankful. I have a lot of shipping, a lot of shipping. So I'm very thankful for that. I've worked very hard to build that customer base, and I appreciate each and every one of you, your loyalty, and yeah, so We'll use one, I already know what we're going to use. We're going to use one of the new products and do a whole project with this piece. Okay, so we've got this piece done, and then we've got these here. Let's talk about what finish to seal. Robin, I'm glad you asked that. Thank you, Regine. Thanks for being here, doll. To seal, you could seal it 3 different ways. If you get really cracky stuff and it's really cracking and it won't stop cracking, you can seal it with Mod Podge. And this is thick and it will keep everything in place and it will keep it from continuing to crack, okay? If you've got something like this and it's just, you know, it's cracked but it's laying flat and it's not moving around or anything, just seal it with your Paint Couture satin. It's fine. You can also spray seal it with satin crystal clear or crystal clear Krylon. Any one of those 3 ways will do. I use this when it's gotten, like this one here, this piece that I made, this got super, super cracky. I got a lot of cracking on this one, and those pieces wanted to move around. They wanted to keep flaking off and everything. So I put a pretty thick layer of Mod Podge on top of that, and I just brushed it to seal it, and that's why it's got that kind of gloss to it, which is pretty. I like that just fine. And I had to stop the cracking, so there's that. Aw, thanks, Sheila. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Gail, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. I'll be back soon. I'll be back soon. We're gonna, not this Monday, but the following Monday. That's my target for a live. I got to get through shipping. Let's talk a little bit about the release because somebody asked me about that again. The release, the IOD summer release, is May 22nd at 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time. Central is 12, Eastern is 1, okay? My shop, the oolalashop.com, write it down if you don't have it saved already. The collection will be there, and it will be, you can just type in 2025 and all the new stuff will come up. It'll be in its own category, but I think it's easier just to type in 2025. But however you like to search for things, do it that way. And get yourself some goodies. We'll be using something from the new collection on this project the Monday after the 22nd. Okay? Thank you, Lori. I will take care, darling. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, you guys. I missed you. Thank you so much for showing up and remembering me. I'm going to hobble into the house and wash my brushes off and have a little lunch. And oh, thanks, Belinda. I'm glad that you think so. Thank you very much. Let me think. Did I say everything I wanted to say? I think I did. Now I feel like we should seal this while we're here just to show you. Okay, look. I'm going to seal it with Paint Couture satin that we get from our friend Robin, okay? I'm going to seal this one while we're on camera, just so you can see that it works and it's beautiful, okay? This goes on a little cloudy, but it dries crystal clear, okay? So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to brush it over my piece, just like this. If I knew I was going to seal this, I would probably put my gold on after I sealed it, but it's going to be fine. It looks a little muted right now, but that's only because it's cloudy when it's wet, but we're going to dry it right now and you'll see the gold will perk right back up. So you can do the gold before or after, it doesn't really matter. But that's all there is to that, to sealing that, just like that, okay? This, I might seal with a spray because it'd be easier. There's lots and lots and lots of texture on that. And that's a frame mold that I got on Amazon. It's in my Amazon store. Let's dry that so you can see that the shine still shows from the gold. I will add my link again, honey. Thank you for saying that and reminding me. Oh, Claire, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you, Betty. I will take care. I will take care. I'm going to put in the link again for the milk paint, okay? In case you guys want to go check that out. And if you do make an order, don't forget to get their sample that's on sale, okay? I believe it's called Harbor, and it's like a real light blue. It's real pretty. And you get the sample bag. These are generally $7, but it's $4.50. And once a month, they have a sample bag on sale, and I'll be getting it every month because that's like almost half price, right? See, that shine comes back perfectly. Okay. Oh, Regine, thank you so much, sweetheart. You're very loyal to me, and I really, really appreciate that. And you know, I always kind of tease, shipping is my superpower, and it's not bragging if it's true, right? And I know it's true because I I am a shipping fool, man. I'll tell you what, if I get an order and Paul the mailman hasn't been here, I'll go pack it right away. Yeah, and get it in the mail. He comes generally about 2 o'clock, but if you order it like noon, it's going out that day. Thank you, Virginie, for the shout out. I appreciate it, sweetheart. All right, you guys, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go have some lunch, and it was so nice to be back with you guys. Thank you for making me feel welcome, and I'll be seeing you online, you know, on Facebook and certainly through the release on Thursday. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to message me. I love that. Okay. Yeah, it's not bragging. If it's true, it's not bragging. Um, I'll see you guys soon. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Thursday, March 22nd, theulalashop.com. I'm ready for you. Gail, thank you, sweetheart. I'll see you guys later. Love you bunches. Bye, ladybugs.